So, number one. Okay, are you guys looking at number one? You need to have some kind of grading utensil out. So, however you want to grade yourself is fine. I'm going to use this here red flare pen because my self-esteem won't be hurt by red pen. So, speak for yourself, Mrs. Talbot. Okay. They told us in teaching school that we're not allowed to grade your stuff in red pen because it will hurt your self-esteem. No, I'm serious. That was like a full day of teaching school. Okay. All right. Okay. I want to go as quickly as possible, but not too quickly as to leave anyone in the dust. And I want to make sure I answer questions. But anyway, okay. The first part, A, essentially correct. That's all the way correct. If the description of the distribution satisfies component 1 and at least 3 of components 2 through 5. So component 1 includes context of dissolved oxygen concentration, some kind of context. Here's mine. I put somewhere in here milligrams per liter. Yeah, you can put O2 concentration. You could put anything, any kind of label for context. This is going to give me that check mark for number 1. Okay. Now I need at least 3 of the components 2 through 5. I don't have to have all 4 of them. Just need at least 3. I need to say that it's left skewed is one of them. Check. I need to say the center is between 11 and 12. Notice it doesn't say which center you had to use. You just had to say the center is between 11 and 12. Okay, let's go back to here. So I said left skewed. I said median is between 11 and 12. Spread. Refers to at least one measure of variation. The range is between 12 and 10. All values are between 2 and 14, or the IQR is approximately 2. Any one of those 3. I actually put all 3 on mine because I'm a giant nerd. So I said the range is between 14 minus 2 and 13 minus 3. 14 minus 2 and 13 minus 3. The range is somewhere between those 2 numbers. Remember, range is max minus min. So you take the maxes and then take the next one in. Or all values are between 2 and 14. That's the easiest to do. Just say everything is between 2 and 14. Or the IQR, I found this because I'm a giant nerd, was about 12.5 minus 10.5 at about 2. If you screwed up the range, though, if you screwed up the spread, that's okay if you got the other 3 check marks there. You could just say 12 and 10. You could just say 2 and 14, and you could just say 2. You don't have to put the subtraction in there. And then you need to say there was a potential outlier or a gap or something between 3 and 4, which I'm sure you all did. Okay. You get a P if you satisfy component 1 and 2 of the other ones. Or if you satisfy at least 3 of the other ones, but did not put any context. And you get an I if it's something else. Okay, down here it says component 1 can be satisfied with a reference to dissolved oxygen concentration, dissolved oxygen, amount of oxygen, or milligrams per liter. So that's all those things are for context. Does anyone want to ask about theirs specifically? Like, did they do something different and want to know how to score it? Because there's about 500 notes on the back of this page. There's not. There's just the one note. There's usually 500 notes. Anyone confused about their own particular answer? Okay, now what you do is you go here and you score yourself right there. FRQ part A, click whichever one of the three you got. Does that make sense? And also, if I were you, I would come along here and put whatever score you got. I'm going to give myself an E for that beautiful response there. I actually got everything. This was my context check mark. Okay. Any questions? Can I move on? Yes.
Okay.
That's the easiest. That's the easiest. Yeah. Okay. Super important that you guys know that range is not saying all values are between 2 and 14. Do not say the range is between 2 and 14. You're going to sound silly. If you say the range is between 2 and 14, do not give yourself credit for that. Yeah, the range is a subtraction, max minus min. It's an actual number. Okay, moving on, part B. Here's your box plot. Part B is just the box plot. You have the 5-number summary up here. This is the easiest thing ever. I felt stupid that they even asked you, but that's okay. Okay, essentially correct if you satisfy 4 or 5 of the following components. Constructs the box beginning at quartile 1. Constructs the box ending at quartile 3. That's here and here. Locates the median within the box. Extends the line on the box plot to the minimum value. Extends the line on the box plot to the maximum value. If you got 4 or 5 of those, my goodness, if you didn't, I'm gonna just don't tell me. Don't tell me. Just don't tell me. Nothing. They wanted nothing. You get a P if you have only 3 of the 5 of those components and an I otherwise. I don't even know what to say about that.
I thought there was going to be some label then.
Nope, nothing. That's just this right here.
Nice.
Everybody ready to move on? Hello? We're good?
Yep.
Part C. Okay. I'm like putting things in too many spots. Okay. C. Essentially correct if you have component 1 and at least 2 of the components 2 through 4. States colder streams are healthier. You have to say colder streams are healthier. Directly compares the centers of the 2 distributions. Okay, so what I mean by that is, okay, so here's my colder streams are healthier. The center of the distribution of colder streams is higher. Thank you. Can I do this thing, please? Okay. The center of the distribution of colder streams is higher than the center of distribution of warmer streams. Have to say some kind of comparison language here. So more than, greater than, higher than, at a median of between 11 and 12 versus a median of 5.43. So directly compares the centers. So I had colder is healthier, directly compares the centers. Indicates warmer streams are skewed right and colder streams are skewed left. Okay. I put that first because I followed socks. The shape of the distribution of colder streams is left skewed, while the shape of the distribution of warmer streams is right skewed. And you feel weird because you're like, how do you compare that? You just say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have put it on socks. Thank you, socks.
Hold on to that thought. Let's look at the notes. Okay. Directly, hold on, I'm behind here. Okay, and then directly compares the spreads. I said the spread of both distribution is similar, with a range between 10 and 12 for the colder streams and a range of 12 for the warmer streams. Or you can compare all values, or you can compare the IQR. You just have to make sure to do exactly the same thing that you did in part A. So whatever you stated for part A in the spread, you'll have to continue with part C in the spread. If you screwed this up, you can still get an E though, if you did everything else. Yes.
So I didn't, for one, if I say it has a higher oxygen concentration, but don't say it's healthier, that might not be credit for it.
Let's look at the notes. Okay, anyway. So additional note. Oh, first of all, you get a P if you satisfy component 1. You have to satisfy component 1 and one of components 2 through 4. Incorrect if you do not meet the criteria for E and a P. It says, while both distribution have potential outliers, it's not necessary to compare them for this part of the question. A response based on an incorrect part A or part B may be scored E or P if it justifies the choice consistent with their answers to part A or part B. This is really important right here. Please make sure that you understand this sentence before I move on. What it means is College Board is not going to double mark you wrong. So if you did something wrong earlier, they're going to use your wrong stuff in your further question. In order to satisfy component 4, a response may compare at least one of the values of approximate range, IQR, or standard deviation with the value of the same statistic from the other distribution. Okay, let's see. I think you have to say that it's healthier for wildlife. Kayla, did I answer your question? What was your question again? I agree with you. I'm not sure. I'm going to leave it up to you to score yourself how you see fit.
You think it'd be smarter during the test?
Okay.
You think it's smarter to just use socks, compare the distribution?
Uh-huh. Just use socks with context is what always works for me.
Because I completely forgot to do that, but I did say that. It makes me mad that I got it right.
Okay, so type that in your thing. So we are ready to score our first one here. So you should have answers to all 3 of those. All 3 E's is a 4. 2 E's and a P is a 3. They do not have to be in this order. You could have gotten a P on any one of them. Does this make sense? It's just the amount of them. 2 E's and a P. Everything else is a 2, except for these 4 in any order are going to be a 1. Did you guys hear me that I said the order didn't matter? Yes. Oh, yeah, honey, what? No, you should try though. I really fear you asking me that question. I was just wondering. I mean, I didn't do that bad. Okay. But if you guys could type in whatever comments there are, and then we'll move on to question 2. Do you guys all kind of get how the Google form works now? Okay, and it's gonna be a little different once we get to one that has 4 parts to grade instead of 3 parts to grade. You'll see how you get the 1, 2, 3, or 4 is a little different. It's just that each part's gonna be a half point. So you'll see. Okay. All right. Number 2. A, essentially correct if you have the following 3 components. Identifies the experimental units as the driveways. Identifies the treatments as concrete with fibers and concrete without fibers. Identifies the response variable as the rating of the severity of the cracks. Partially correct if you got 2 of the 3 of those, and incorrect if anything else. Let's read the notes. The number of experimental units is not necessary to satisfy component 1. I put that because I'm an overachiever. I put the 60 driveways. The experimental units can be identified as new homes needing driveways. Oh, you could have said homes. Okay. The phrases on a scale of 0 to 10 and after 1 year are not required for component 3. Yep. Reasonable synonyms for rating of the severity, such as rating, severity, on a scale of 0 to 10 are acceptable towards satisfying component 3. Identification of the response variable as a mean or average does not satisfy component 3. It has to be a rating. Any questions about A? Unfortunately, the ones that you didn't do are going to be really easy to grade. Okay. B, essentially correct if the response satisfies the following 2 components. Describes how to correctly use a random number generator or some other appropriate random process to assign driveways that have been labeled 1 to 60 to concrete with fibers and concrete without fibers so that every possible random assignment is equally likely. There's 3 options here. It's HAT, random number generator, or random number table or digit table. Yes. And you want to make sure here the random process results in an equal number of driveways assigned to the concrete with fibers and concrete without fibers. Let me show you how I represented that. I said number of the driveways from 1 to 60. Use a random number generator to generate 30 unique. This is very important that you have unique or the no repeat situation, which we just talked about. Random numbers from 1 to 60. Assign those 30 to the concrete that contains fibers and the leftover 30 to the concrete that does not contain fibers. So this tells me that I noticed that there has to be half and half. I numbered the driveways and I said random number generator and unique. Yes, honey.
I think the paper hat method, like, so that like a bunch of people are taking
Yeah.
paper from the thing, does that count for like no repeat or?
Yes, it already counts for no repeat. You should say something about like mixing between with the hat. And you should say without replacement. If you say something without replacement, then you cover your unique. Just, because I want you to get a full credit every time. Okay. Partial credit if you describe how to implement a random process that satisfies only one of the 2 components. Incorrect if you do not have an E or a P. So notice here they said one of the options, put 60 equally sized slips of, okay, this is College Board. Number 1 to 60 in a hat, mix well and randomly select 30 slips of paper without replacement. Assign the white marbles, black marbles, spin a spinner. Okay. Okay. Next. E. Goodness sakes. Okay. Response satisfies 2 components. Random assignment enables the conclusion that the type of concrete caused the rating of severity. So you want to say something about cause and effect because it's an experiment. And the explanation is in context. So you just need to say something about cause and effect and context. What did I say? Good question, Mrs. Talbot. You said random assignment to concrete that contains fibers or concrete that does not contain fibers is an experiment. And an experiment allows the developer to conclude a cause and effect relationship between having or not having the fibers and the severity of the cracks. Man, was I wordy. I was a hot minute wordy there. Yes.
So mine was not as wordy. Can I read you?
Yes,
Can I
yes,
get it?
yes.
So it says, it allows us to determine cause and effect for driveways like these. Yes or no?
It does show that.
I mean,
Because going back to the previous question, or the first question,
It does say cause and effect and does say context of driveways like these.
exactly.
I'm not sure.
And on the first question, it could say homes or driveways could be used as the context for describing.
Yeah, because here it says context includes either the treatment, concrete with fibers or without fibers, or the severity rating. You didn't say anything about either of those. So I'm going P there.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Due to random assignment, the results can be generalized to all houses with this brand of concrete and fibers similar to the ones in the sample.
No, that's absolutely wrong, love you. The reason is because observational studies are the ones that are generalized to driveways like these. Experiments, random assignment are cause and effect.
Okay.
So right here, it says, if the response also indicates the incorrect conclusion based on random assignment, such as generalization of the population, reduction of bias, reduction of variability, reduce the score from E to P or P to an I.
Okay.
So you get the context part. So you got a P.
I'll just specify its cause and effect.
Cause and effect. Experiments are cause and effect. Observational studies are generalization to the population. We're doing it, people. It's happening. This is going to stay in your brain because we did not do this. I mean, this was chapter 4,
Yeah.
which is like, what, September, October? It's been a long time. Okay, number 2 is done. Type what you want to type, like cause and effect is stupid, something like that. Cause and effect is really dumb, Mrs. Talbot.
I'm right. That's the biases. I think the biases are gonna be on this. Oh, no. Memorize the biases. I jinxed everyone right now. Remember your biases.
I'm biased toward not having bias questions.
What type of biases in this question?
Okay. All right, we're doing it. Okay. Number 3A. At least 3 of the following 4 components correctly calculates the proportion of bath physies containing $1. That's 0.68. Provides correct supporting work for the value calculated in component 1. So 0.68, show your work. Correctly calculates the proportion of bath physies containing at least $10. That's 0.12. And supporting work.
Yeah. Oh, so technically you only use supporting work.
Right. Okay, this is the fun part here. This is not the fun part here, but the second part is a response that provides a correct percentage may satisfy components 1 and 3. So you could write it as a decimal, a fraction, or a percent. They don't care. Also, an arithmetic or transcription error in a response can be ignored if correct work is shown. You can get it wrong and still get it right. I know. Sometimes they're super picky and like for no reason, and sometimes they're super not picky like for no reason, and I never know. So
I think what they're saying is most have this.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I get it. I just think it's funny. Okay. I just yeah, you the sweet children. Okay. C.
What was B?
B.
We did part 1 and 2 for A.
Uh-oh.
Is B not in there?
Ah, it's on the other side of this paper. Okay. All right, two components correctly calculates the correct probability, which is 0.8300833. Shows works.
Not the.
They do not care.
So when it says an arithmetic or transcription error, so if you like put the wrong numbers and then you still get the right answer, that was the wrong number, like you could literally get like 0.093.
Uh-huh.
That's okay?
I guess.
So like one that correctly calculates the question probability.
I think
It's
it's
like a whole one.
Yeah. Okay. And they don't say that on every single one, so I don't even know what to tell you. Are you guys okay with B? Okay. C. Okay, part C. You have to satisfy both components 1 and 2 and at least 2 of components 3 through 5 to get an E on this one. States the correct expected value. That's $4.68. Shows appropriate work to calculate the expected value. That's up here. Okay, now you can use the ... thing. Notice it says down here, supporting work for finding the expected value must include at least 2 of the terms of the equation to show the pattern.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's still different.
I always do the first 2 and the last one. This is new, but I still would do the first 2 and the last one. Okay, so you have to have those 2, and then at least 2 of these. Interpretation includes the concept of repeating the selection process over a long period of time. So in this class, we say over many, many. Interpretation includes the concept of an average or mean. Interpretation includes the context of receiving a cash prize. Okay, this is what I wrote. Over many, many trials of selecting a random math busy, the average cash prize for each trial is about $4.68.
Is it okay if we say we can expect?
Okay, hold on. Let me go back to this. Yes.
I didn't put the average, but I did say the average. Is that still-
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But you guys, if you're working on a problem with money, you need to round to the penny. Otherwise, you're gonna look that's not the right word. Silly. You're gonna look silly. I realize that you guys have all worked off of debit cards your whole life and have never held a penny, but
I think I am. I was insulted.
you wouldn't even believe what my math 1 kids, they're like $4.7. I don't know. Okay.
Take Mr. Ford's class, for example.
His name's
Oh, true. Okay. Guys, hi. Calculator notation does not satisfy component 2, such as 1 minus 1 variable stats L1, L2. Don't write that. They don't want that.
Remember that part, right?
Yeah, it looks like you can get it wrong again. I don't know.
There's no
Yeah,
numbers.
An arithmetic or transcription error in response can be ignored if correct work is shown.
What's a transcription error?
It means if you flip the numbers like 7-1 or 1-7.
I thought I was saying if I didn't say back business or.
No, that would be context. Okay. Any other questions about C?
Didn't say anything about expect. I think expect.
So you get a P if you have 2 or 3 of component, like you didn't get all of them. You got 1 and 2, but you didn't get the interpretation ones exactly. Otherwise.
Partial for the you can expect. Because it's over many trials we can expect. So I understand if someone takes that not as correct.
It specifically says concept of average or mean.
It's a concept. Expect.
Mm.
No, I think you're.
But I mean, that doesn't mean that you don't get
Yeah,
an
no,
E.
just
Yeah,
for-
I'm just trying to be, I would
Yeah, of
rather be
course.
conservative. Okay, D. If the response correctly calculates the number of euros, showing the work and including units. So 4.68 times 0.89 equals 4.17 euros. Like the food, euros. I'll eat 4.17 euros.
All we have to do is just,
just work and answer. Okay. Oh, sorry, Allie, 1 second.
Man, I did the top equation. I multiplied everything by 0.89 in the equation. I did the math.
Okay, guys. Okay, when you're scoring an FRQ that has 4 pieces to it, each E is 1 point and each P is a half point. Okay, if you get like 2.5, you have to use something called holistic scoring. Holistic scoring is basically like channeling the universe to decide if you should round up or round down. Okay, they really do this in AP testing. They will like, well, did this person do something to make me feel like I should round up or make me feel like I should round down? I'm not even kidding you. Okay, examples include, back here, they say something like, responses that satisfy only components 1 and 5 and not components 2 and 3 receive a score of 1, but should be considered a positive in holistic scoring. So something like that. They said including this notation here should be considered a positive in holistic scoring. This would be something that wasn't required, but would make you round yourself up. Does that make sense?
By showing additional.
Yeah. Okay, so you're the grader today. You get to decide if you're rounding yourself up or down.
Easy. We did the given and we did the probability statement. Oh, that's holistic. Wait, for that question only?
For that question only.
Oh, never mind. Wait. Like around again? Expect. I don't think it.
All right. Type your feelings, please. Don't forget about your feelings.
Okay, wait a second. So, wait, how many? There was 12 total? Or no? No. 10? 10 questions?
What?
I'm trying to do math.
Oh, well, there are 4 parts. If you would like to write an essay about it, we're ready.
So there, wait, we went through 3 questions. Right?
Uh-huh.
And then each
So
one
that's
has
10
three-
parts.
Yeah, 10,
Except, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay,
You're correct. I see what you're saying now. This one has 3 parts, number 4.
so you're at 9.5. Nice, okay. I don't know. Wait, so how do we get a 3? Or 4? Wait, what's the number? Do we just average it?
What are you talking about?
Wait.
For number 3?
What am I? Yeah, FRQ 3 is his final score for FRQ. I'm trying to.
Yeah, go up a smidgy. It says that each E that you got is 1 point and each P that you got is a half point.
Exactly, so that's 9.5, right?
Yeah. No, just for number 3.
Oh, wait.
Because you're calculating your final score for number 3.
This is the only one that was like that though.
Yeah, I know, because the other ones were 3 parts. This one has 4 parts.
Oh, I thought it was like,
No,
I was so confused. I was like,
No.
we still have more FRQ questions.
yeah,
Why are we
no,
grading
this
our
is just
FRQ?
number 3.
Okay,
So what did you get? 2 E's and a P?
yeah.
So that's 2.5. So then you have to decide if it, or no, 3 E's and a P?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's 3.5. So you just have to decide if you get a 3 or 4. Megan, honey? Well, I love that question. No, you're not. I would like to show you something on my paper. Do you notice that I had to white that out? Because I said decrease, but then I had to go back and it was like, oh, it means that the supplement is going to decrease this irritability score, but that increases the omega-3s. Increasing omega-3s should decrease their irritability. Okay, it means like if I take more Prozac, I'll be less sad. Just like Do you see what I mean? Like, this variable here is the omega-3. It's not irritability score.
Oh, okay.
I guess it really doesn't matter in the end, because you're just comparing to the alpha level.
Exactly. So
They're not, that's a transcription error.
it's not.
It's,
Okay.
I did mean one minus mean two. That's the same thing, right?
Okay. Shh. Okay. Okay. Slow down. Satisfies the following 4 components. First, identifies a paired t-test by name or by formula. I've taught you to do this every time. Write the inference method in your plan. Should be very easy for the grader to see that you wanted a paired t-test. Notice that's the first thing they look for. That's why it's the first thing we write in our plan. States the hypotheses using a single mean, mu d. Our class uses mu d. So I used mu d. States the correct equality for the null hypothesis and states the correct direction for the alternative hypothesis, equals and greater than. We might have gotten that one wrong from the feelings, vibes I'm getting from around the room. Okay, and provides sufficient context for the parameter by including reference to the population mean difference and the sampling units, people with medical condition, and the response variable irritability score. Okay, so I said mu d equals the mean difference in irritability score, placebo minus omega-3, of all patients similar to the volunteers in this study with this condition. Sounds like that was challenging.
Just identify. I think that's the.
Oh, like mu d?
Yeah, no,
Oh.
I think that one minus mean two, I did that independent. Yeah, the difference got me stuck too. It would be in there, if it's the requirement to get it right.
Yeah.
Just identifying.
What,
this
Patrick?
here. I didn't write down the alpha on.
It doesn't say anything about it this time. You got away with it. You just never know when they're gonna want it or not, and so I always do it. Yes.
So like it gives us like rough times, do we have to follow that?
No. You get an hour and a half to do the whole 6 thing. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Section 1 is the identify or the state section plus the inference method.
I literally.
Okay.
wrote here on my paper and I did-
If you got 3 of the 4 of those, you get a P, otherwise you get 9. Okay, moving on. Okay. Checks the independence condition by referring to random assignment. So all you have to do is say that there's random assignment. We put ours in the random condition. So remember, you don't have to do the 10% condition because it's I don't think so because it says here, component 1 is not satisfied as the response indicates that the independence condition is met because the sample was selected at random. Of course. Okay. Indicates that the distribution of irritability scores for the differences is not badly skewed. So that's your large counts condition right there. So I said box plot of differences has no extreme skew or outliers. And remember with these, super important that you are looking at the box plot of the differences, not the other 2. These 2 don't matter really. It's just this one. It's not that they don't matter. Okay, anyway, correctly reports the value of the T statistic consistent with the name test. That's 3.138. And then correctly reports the p-value, which is 0.0028. So section 2 is the random assignment, large counts condition, T statistic, p-value.
I think it's the absolute, I got the opposite. I got 9. That's 9901. That's literally. I did something. That's fine.
Yes, David. Nope, they don't care. Discussion of degrees of freedom will be treated as extraneous for scoring section 2. They don't care if you label this for degrees of freedom on this one. Sometimes they care, sometimes they don't. It just depends. Oh, yeah. 100%. It is. I think it's just a money racket personally, but anyway. Section 3. 2 components. Provides correct comparison of the p-value to alpha, something about p-value is less than or greater than alpha, and provides a correct decision about the null and or alternative hypothesis. So since our p-value of 0.0028 is less than alpha, we reject the hope. That's the first part right there. States a conclusion in context consistent with and in terms of the alternative hypothesis using non-deterministic language. What that means is you're not accepting either of the null or alternative hypotheses. You're just saying you have convincing evidence or not. Yes.
Would I say I have done this correct if I did not state the correct value?
Yes. Okay. This is actually a thing that I wanted you all to know. If on the AP exam, you do this part, you get here, you get stuck. You can't remember what to do. You can't remember the do step. I want you to 100% write something here. I forgot how to do this. However, a reasonable p-value might be 0.5, 0.2, 0.1, 0.6. Since our p-value of 0.6 is greater than 0.05, we fail to reject. You can get 100% on this part and not on this part. Just write down some kind of decimal. Make sure you don't put like 1.5. Now that's going to sound silly for a p-value, right? Because it's a probability. But go with 0.02 every time. A reasonable p-value might be 0.02. Write your conclusion. Still do it.
And if you got it wrong, like if it's actually supposed to be greater than.
No, it's off of your p-value.
Okay.
That's why it said right here, it says p-value is less than greater than alpha. That means they're giving you the space to get your p-value incorrect and still get the conclusion correct. Okay. That's section 3. Number 4 is done. Okay.
For section 1, you either get everything right or it's everything or it's wrong, right? There's no partial for that one.
No, there is partial.
Oh, there was.
Yeah. You had to have like 2 of the 3 things or something.
Yeah, that makes sense. To be fair, that one's pretty obviously strong if you put moderate.
I guess. I've never seen them do that before, but sure. They might say, because it's at least 3 of the components, 1 through 4, and then 5, but whatever. I put moderate. I think I'm getting a P here. No, I didn't get a P. Okay, anyway. Okay. You need at least 3 of these, and this one for sure. Direction, positive or increasing. Strength, strong, apparently they really care about that. I put moderate. I'm kind of salty about it. Form, linear. I said outliers, none. And then you need to have something about the context. Well, it's one of the things that can give you one of the at least 3 out of the 4 and then 5.
Yeah, no, I was just like.
Yeah.
just For future knowledge, having.
Yes, so dots every time for a scatter plot.
Okay.
Okay, so I put positive, none, linear, and this is wrong. Moderate association between chest circumference and weight of male tool. It's not, it's Tule. Tule, Silas, will you say it properly, please? Okay. Okay. My name's Lee. Oh, excellent. To me, elk. All right. Part B. Provides the correct value of 196.17 kilograms with work shown. Provides the correct value of 8.13 kilograms or a value consistent with the predicted weight calculated for component 1 with work shown. Here's mine. Plugged it in, showed my work, that actual minus predicted, that. If you got one of the 2 of those, you get a P. But or for those of you out there who like to just skip to the end, if you give both correct values with no work, you get a P. Hopefully you plugged into the formula.
No, I can't. No, so for part 2, I did it in part 1, so then I reread it in part 2. So
Oh. Okay.
Regression lines.
C. Identifies the value of the slope as 3.7455. Provides an interpretation that in references an increase for each 1 centimeter increase in chest circumference. Indicates that the slope represents a change in prediction using non-deterministic language, such as predicted, estimated, expected, or average. I put for every increase in 1 centimeter in chest circumference, we predict an increase of 3.7455 kilograms of weight.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to repredict. So, were you correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we gained 2 out of 3 is partial.
2 of the 3 is partial. Anything else is an I.
Can't believe I forgot about the week.
Just to make you feel better, for David's question earlier, here's why they don't care. It says the value of the slope may be rounded to 3.746, 3.75, or 3.7, but not to 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Last one here. Gives a correct p-value of 0.02002, consistent with the 2-sided alternative hypothesis. Provides correct interpretation of the p-value to alpha and provides a correct decision. Provides a conclusion statement in context consistent with the alternative hypothesis using non-deterministic language.
Oh, I forgot to multiply. That makes sense.
If you forgot to multiply, that would be a P.
Yeah.
Yeah, because notice the not equal to right there. Okay, real quick, let's just go over my sentence. We only have a couple minutes. Because our p-value of that is less than that, we reject. We have convincing evidence the slope of the true regression line relating blah, blah, blah is not 4.5. Okay, then yeah. Okay. Number 6, we're gonna have to go speedy here.
Yeah, this.
Okay. Part A, 3 components, use of a normal distribution with mean 300 and standard deviation 5. Provides the correct event, boundary value, and direction. Provides the correct probability as 0.5763. This is very important here that you have mean and standard deviation labeled. So this is the correct direction. An event, normal distribution, labeled. I think if I had to guess, this one was so easy, it was hard. I know, I hear you. Okay, if you did 2 of the 3 of those, you got a P, otherwise an I. Not yet, because you need a multiple choice still to give you that information. What? AP pass. Yes, okay, part B. You need to indicate a normal distribution and corrects the use the correct parameter values. Okay, this is really important that you have your mean is 300 and your standard deviation is 5 over root 2. The reason is because there's 2 this time, not just 1, so it's S over square root of N. Correct event boundary value, correct probability of 0.198. And then in part 2, multiply by 2. And then same sort of conclusion sentence. No, since our probability is large, we do not have convincing evidence. Okay, so notice this says different. That should tell you that you multiply by 2. And then that's a larger than any alpha level you'd have. Okay, very quickly. C. Right skewed. Center at 6. I said something different here. I said all values are between 0 and 25 milligrams. I said my median was between 4 and 5. Oh, it says somewhere between 4 and 10 down here. Okay, so right skewed, no outliers. I put my median was about 4 or 5. It says you can put anything here from 4 to 10. And then I said all values are between 0 and 25. Remember that you're looking at graph 1. Okay, just pause it. We'll continue tomorrow.